Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining Stamp with Lisa Brown for my SAVI Sunday. That's Stamping and Various Inspirations. Today, I wanted to talk to you about our watercolor pencils. In our selection of watercolor pencils, you get 12 pencils, including a white one, which is really nice when you're trying to color on dark cardstock. But for today, we're going to concentrate on using them on 3 different kinds of paper. I have regular Whisper White, I have our Shimmer White, and then I have some watercolor. And so we're going to start with our regular Whisper White cardstock. And I took the flower from the Beautiful Day stamp set. I love this. I love this line image on that one. And then I took our words, just a note, from Flourishing Phrases. And this is a really great set. This is a 2-part set, and they're also coordinating dies for that. So on our regular Whisper White, you can just take your colored pencils and just straight color with them. So I'm just going to take them and just kind of fill in where I want to go. And it's just like coloring with a regular colored pencil. I kind of like to go almost in a circular motion. It kind of gives me a softer look instead of harsh lines. And let's see, I think I want to fill in, I'm going to fill in the center with some of our early espresso. So each pencil shows you the color of the colored pencil. And it also tells you the name of the colored pencil. The other cool thing is each pencil is numbered. So this says number 10. So that tells me, okay, Old Olive is number 5. What's this? Pacific Point is number 7. It numbers them from 1 to 12. So it tells you what number that corresponds with that color. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. And let's see, how about if we do this one with some pumpkin pie? Now I can go and I can press harder to get a more solid coverage and a darker coverage. So I'm going to make my insides here darker. So as you can see, the color's in really nice. The pencils are really soft. And then if I wanted to do a lighter shade on the outside here, I'm just not going to press so hard, and I'm just going to go right over this area with a light touch. If I wanted to add a little bit of shading to it, I would outline this by pressing harder. And I'm just going to go on the out edge with a nice firm pressure. Okay, and you see how that gives me that nice, gives me an outline, and then this is filled in lighter. And then you can kind of try to blend that in by increasing your pressure as you're going in. And kind of give that gradient look to it. If you want to reinforce that edge, just kind of go over it again. Give yourself a little edge here and then fill it in. So as you can see, I am lighter on the inside of the petal, and then I'm darker on the outside. Okay, so this is just straight watercolor pencil on Whisper White. Then I wanted to show you using our Shimmer White cardstock, and I'm going to use our blender pens in combination. So the blender pens are dual tipped. You get 3 in a package. Hold on a second. Let me get one out here. And each end has a tip on it. I'm going to grab some scrap paper here. And this allows you to kind of smooth out your colors a little bit. So I think for this one, we're going to go with Rich Razzleberry. So I'm going to take a petal, and I think I'm going to go with this one right here. And I'm going to put a line of color along the edge. Darken it up a little bit. Now our shimmer white cardstock can also use, you can use it for watercoloring with water. Now I'm going to take my blender pen, and I'm just going to start bringing in that color. I'm going to pull it from the line that I put down. And then what it does is it pulls the color in, and it gets rid of that harsh edge. I'm kind of doing it in a little bit of a circular motion. This is another great way to kind of get your shading and your different tones, your different depths of color. And when you're done, if you wanted to go right to another color, you would just clean this off just like that. And don't forget that your blend pens can also be used with our regular ink. But I wanted to show you how to use it with the watercolor pencils. See how nice that turns out? Let's go ahead and do a couple more. So I'm going to put some heavy color on the outside of these petals. I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure to get a nice heavy line. And I'm going to take my blender pen, and I'm just going to, in a little bit of a circular motion, I'm just going to start pulling that color down. Now I did stamp my images with STAZON. This is a black permanent ink. Okay, if we were going to use like Memento or regular ink pads, those are water soluble. Sorry, and you would pick up the stamped image, and it would smear. So you want to use a permanent ink when you're doing this. So I'm just going to pull this in. Again, slightly circular motion. And then I still have, okay, a little bit. If I wanted to add just a little bit more color, I can actually take my blender pen and pick up some color right from the pencil. And I'm going to add it in right here. And I'm going to add some darkness on this side. So that's another way that you can add just a little bit extra of color. I'm going to wipe some of that off and blend that in. See how we get that nice coloring, that nice shading. Okay, and so like I said, this is with our shimmer white. It's probably hard to see that on the camera, but this is also great. This paper is also great for watercoloring. So Stampin' Up! Does have some watercolor paper. So we're going to do one more image, and we're going to use the watercolor paper. Again, I stamped on here with the STAZON ink, and we're going to go ahead and color this in. I think I want to start with my center, and we're going to do, this is Daffodil Delight pencil, and we're going to just kind of color this in, pressing hard because I want lots of color. I want it nice and vibrant. Okay. Now, the card that we're going to do is Night of Navy based. We don't have a Night of Navy pencil in this collection. So we're going to use Pacific Point, which I love this blue. It's really, really pretty. So let's go ahead and get coloring. I'm just going to do a nice soft inside here. And I think I'm going to add just a little darkness. And then for my outside petals, we're going to go with that dark heavy line again. And we're just going to outline all of our flower petals. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be pulling the color, and we can always add more. I think I do want a little bit of darkness here and a little bit of darkness here. So what we're going to do, the reason I'm using the watercolor paper is because we are going to use our Aqua Painters. Our Aqua Painters are paint brushes that have water in the tube. So this will work perfect with the watercolor pencils. Okay. All right, just a couple more. Okay. All right, so we have our blue on, and then here are our Aqua Painters. You get 2 in a pack, and I already have the barrel filled with water. These just simply uncap, and you fill this up with water. And then you have 2 tips. Here's tip number 1, and here's tip number 2. So they're pretty comparable. Okay. So we're gonna grab those. I'm gonna cap one back up. And now I'm just using the Aqua Painter. So if you squeeze with the Aqua Painter, let me get my napkin over here. If you squeeze it, the water will come out. Okay, here's the water. All right, so you want a little bit of a flow. I shouldn't say flow. You want your bristles wet to pull the colors, but you don't want to squeeze a lot so that your ink is pulling. So we're just going, so we obviously know that our bristles are wet, and I'm just going to start bringing the color in. I'm just going to start pulling it in from just what we laid down on the edges. And again, I don't know why, it just works well for me. I like to go in a circular motion. Okay, so we're just going to blend this in. And my goal is to, if I have too much color, I can take it and I can swish it on a paper towel or on a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to pull it in. I want my edges dark, and I want the insides of my petals a little bit lighter. Probably should have did it the other way, but that's okay. I'm not sure what the proper way is. Do you have darker edges and lighter insides, or do you have lighter outsides and darker insides? All right, I'm okay with this being all dark. All right, so this one here, we're just gonna get all the color filled in so I can't see any white. Nice. And again, I'm just trying to get rid of most of that hard edge. I'm gonna see a little bit of it. I could keep going over it to get rid of it. Just giving my barrel just a little bit of a squeeze, make sure the water's coming out. If you get too much on your, too much water in your paper, you can always dab it away, but know that it's going to pull some of the color away, which is okay because you can always add more. Isn't that pretty? Pull some of this edge over here. So our watercolor pencils are really nice because they coordinate with all of our paper and some of our designer series paper, our ink pads, ribbon, rhinestones. So you can really, it's nice because you can have everything really coordinate together. I'm going to add just a little bit of water right there and see how that color ran back. I don't know if you saw that on the camera. I wanted it just a little bit lighter. So I'm adding some water and I'm going to dab on that. See how much color that's pulling away by adding the water. Okay, I just wanted to pull some of the color back, and now I can bring and pull this in and just blend it. You can get some highlighting that way. Over here too, I want just a little bit of this color over here pulled out and bring it in so you don't see any edges. And one more time over back here. Nice. Okay. So the other thing is how we took the blender pen to the pencil. You can also do that with the Aqua Painter. You can go right to the tip of the pencil and pull some color if you just want to add just a little bit more in here. So I'm going to do that one more time to show you. And we're going to add just a little bit of color right in here. See how I'm getting nice color? Okay. And then you can just squeeze it out on some scrap paper. Make sure that you've got all your blue gone, because now we have to do our leaf. And in the set we get Old Olive. So we're just going to put some Old Olive in here. On the edges. Okay, that's good. That's about all we need. And then we're just going to start pulling the Old Olive from our pencil lines. Okay. Take some of that. I got a little bit of water on there. It's a little bit too much. See how it took the color away? So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to swipe it over the pencil, grabbing a bunch of color, and then come in and add that color on here. Okay, good. So this is with the on Shimmer White with the blend, using the watercolor pencil with the blends pen. This is just straight with a watercolor pencil. And then this one here is using the Aqua Painter on watercolor paper. Now normally I would wait for that to dry, but we're going to go ahead and put this on a card. I've got some Night of Navy, and this is still a little bit wet, so I'm just going to add my adhesive onto here. Okay. Be careful not to touch my flower because it's still wet. Let me find, I should have a piece of scrap paper is what I should have. Let's just push this down a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to put this on a piece of Whisper White. Again, that's still just a little bit wet, so I'm just going to put my adhesive right on here. And then I have a piece of designer series paper called See a Silhouette, and this is going to be retiring soon, along with this really pretty stamp set, Beautiful Day. You have until June 2nd, or if it's available now on the clearance rack or last chance products. Hopefully it'll be available until June 2nd, but after that it's going to be gone. I'm going to mount this onto my designer series paper. Look at even the back side is really cool. The back side's like a watercolor wash, but I thought the design on the front was really pretty. Okay, let's see if I can get this on straight today. There we go. And then I'm going to, I think I just want to put this on at the front. I'm going to dimensional it. So let's put some dimensionals on the back here. I'm going to put quite a few just so that it doesn't sag. There we go. And get my pick tool and grab those dimensionals right off of there. Usually have better luck if I go 3 at a time. If I seem to try to pick off more than 3, then I have trouble. There we go. I love the pick tool for that. Okay. And we're going to put this right on front. Just a note. Isn't that cute? And let's see, why don't we put some kind of, see if we can find some bling. And we will add some bling to the front of that. Let's add some rhinestones. I think that would look nice. Okay. Get this out of the bag. We're just going to add some, just little ones. We're going to add one right here. I have a little tiny, oh no, that's just a fuzz. I thought I had a little smudge. We'll put one right there. Yeah, we're going to put one right up here. Okay. So thank you for joining me today for my SAVI Sunday. I hope you liked a refresher course on using the watercolor pencils. Be sure to like my video and share it, and that you are subscribed to my channel to see all my upcoming videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.